Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Inain's Forensic Classroom. So in the previous video, we built the entire foundation of the crime scene search. You now know what a crime scene search is, the one chance principle, and all the 6 search patterns. Now today we will talk about the tools and techniques investigators use to find evidence that is completely invisible to the naked eye, and we will also look into the final walkthrough. So let's get into it. Great. Now let me put you in a scene. Okay, you walk into a crime scene, right? Now the suspect has done a perfect cleanup. Now the floor is wiped, the surfaces are clean, everything looks almost normal. You look around, okay, nothing, you do not see a single visible clue. So tell me, does that mean there is no evidence? Absolutely not. Because in forensic science, clean does not mean it's clean. It just means that it is not visible to the naked eye, right? Now, modern forensic tools can detect evidence even if it has been bleached, if it has been scrubbed or completely hidden. So now let me start with what is in the forensic investigators toolkit. Let's start with the ALS, which is called as alternate light source. Now, let me talk about this, one of the most powerful tools that's in the forensic investigators toolkit. Now, here's what makes it so interesting. Now, under the normal light, a crime scene can look completely clean. There's nothing visible, nothing unusual. But the moment you switch off the lights and you use ALS, the entire scene changes because ALS, what they do is they emit specific wavelengths of light, such as ultraviolet or infrared or different colored lights, and these wavelengths make certain substances react. Now, your evidences like blood, semen, saliva, fibers, and even fingerprints, which are completely invisible to the naked eye, can start to flourish under the right conditions. Now, different substances react to different wavelengths of light, which is why ALS devices come with multiple settings, different colors for different types of evidence. For example, you have a blue white light, which is often used for fingerprints, or you have a green light that can highlight fibers, and other wavelengths are selected depending on what investigators are looking for. So investigators don't just shine the light once and they move on. No, they carefully scan every surface slowly and systematically using the ALS to reveal what the naked eye cannot see. So next we have luminol and blue star, which is for latent blood detection. Now these are basically the chemical reagents which are used by the investigators when they suspect that blood has been cleaned up from the scene. Because a suspect can scrub the floor, they can use bleach or even repaint the surface. Now on the surface, everything may look completely normal, but blood, it doesn't just disappear, it leaves behind a chemical trace, and that's exactly what luminol and blue star detect. Now these chemicals, they react with the iron that is present in the hemoglobin, which is the oxygen carrying component of blood, and then it produces a blue chemiluminescent glow, right, like this. Now, if the blood is present even in tiny traces, even if it is old, diluted, or cleaned, the process is done in darkness. Now, investigators, they spray luminol over the suspected area, and if blood is present, the crime scene suddenly glows blue. Now, this glow lasts only for short time, for about 30 seconds, but that is enough to photograph it and capture the bloodstain pattern as evidence. Now, however, there is an important point to remember. Luminol is sensitive, but it is not completely specific. It can sometimes react with substances like bleach or certain plant materials and produce false positives. And that is why luminol reaction is never treated as a final proof. It only tells investigators that something is there. The actual confirmation always comes from the laboratory testing. Then we have metal detector for buried and hidden metal. Now, a metal detector is not just something you see at the airports, metro stations, etc. At a crime scene, it becomes a serious forensic tool. Now, think about a shooting scene, okay? Uh, in an open area, for example, like in a park. Now, when a gun is fired, the shell casings don't land neatly in one place. They basically fly in different directions, right? Now, some fall into the grass, some get pushed under the bushes, and some may even sink slightly into the soil. And many of them are completely missed by the naked eye. And this is where the metal detector comes in. It is used to systematically scan the ground and detect both ferrous and non-ferrous metals which are hidden beneath the soil, vegetation, or even flooring. Now, the moment it passes over something metallic, it signals the presence of buried or concealed metal. Now, it only responds to metal, but that is exactly why it is so useful in some specific scenes, for example, in shooting scenes or in stabbing scenes or any case where a weapon, bullet, or any metallic fragment may be hidden or lost in the environment. Then the fourth one is GPR, which stands for ground penetrating radar. Now, this is used for below the surface materials. Now, what happens is GPR is used when investigators suspect that something is hidden underground. Now, it could be a body, it could be a weapon which is wrapped in plastic, or a container with evidence which is deliberately buried to avoid detection. Now, the working of GPR is based on the radar waves. Uh, Now, as you can see in this diagram as well, the GPR devices, it sends the electromagnetic waves into the ground through its antenna, right? Now, these are called as transmitted waves. Now, when these waves encounter an object buried beneath the surface, part of its energy is reflected back towards the antenna as the reflected wave. Now, the system then records the time which is taken for the waves to return and display the information on the screen. Different materials such as soil or empty spaces or metallic objects or any decomposing remains, they reflect these radar waves differently. Now, by analyzing these reflections, investigators can detect the presence, depth, and approximate location of buried objects without digging into the ground. Now, if you can look at the image, you see that investigator is slowly moving the GPR device across the ground. Now, as the device moves, it continuously sends the radar waves into the soil and it collects the signal that bounces back. Now, the process is shown at the bottom of the figure uh, right here, where the waves travel downward, interact with the buried object, and then return to the device for the data collection. Now, here's where things get interesting. Now, if someone has dug a hole or buried something, the soil in that area is no longer the same as the surrounding undisturbed ground. Now, if the hole has been carefully refilled, it still reflects radar waves differently. Likewise, a buried object creates its own disturbance in the returning signal. Now, the GPR system, it detects these differences and displays them as distinct patterns, allowing the investigators to identify areas that require further examination. And that is what makes GPR so powerful. It gives investigators a cross-sectional view of what lies beneath the surface without any digging. Now, the scene remains completely intact during the detection stage, and excavation is only carried out if the radar data indicates something significant below ground. Because of this, GPR is commonly used to locate buried victims, clandestine graves, weapons, and other items that have been intentionally hidden underground. So now you have searched the entire crime scene, every lane has been walked, every zone has been cleared, and all the evidence has been found, photographed, documented, and collected. Now you think you are done, but you're not done yet. Now the final walkthrough is a mandatory step that every search commander must conduct before the search is declared complete. Now, what the final walkthrough involves is the search commander and only the search commander walks the entire crime scene on the one final time without any distraction. Now, what they do is they check every zone against the evidence log. Has every marker been accounted for? They check, has every area been cleared? Are there any zones that were flagged as incomplete and not revisited? They also look at areas that investigators often miss, for example, surfaces that people walk past without noticing, like ceilings, high shelves, or top of wardrobes or the back of doors, and they check the hidden spaces too, like under the furniture or inside the appliances or behind the wall fixtures. Now, at every point, they ask one simple question: is there anything that has not been accounted for? Then we check the sign off checklist. Now, before the search is declared complete, the search commander must confirm every item on the checklist. For example, all the zones have been searched and cleared, all evidence items have been collected, packaged, and logged, all photographs and sketches have been complete and verified, all team members PPE has been properly disposed of the inside the perimeter, the entry path has been cleared, and the evidence log is complete with no gaps. Only when every item on that checklist is confirmed does the search commander declare the search complete and sign the official document. And that signature is not just the signature, it carries legal weight. It confirms that the search was conducted properly, thoroughly, and in accordance with the forensic standards. And with this, now you know what makes crime scene search so important. It's not just about techniques, tools, or patterns. It's about understanding what is actually happening at the scene in real life. You don't have to memorize lines from the book, because in forensic science, rote learning will never save you in the field. Your understanding will. And this is what I believe in: making things simple, visual, and practical so you can actually see how it works, not just remember it for your exams. So if this video has helped you to understand crime scene search in a real and easy way, then do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends as well. Because here we don't just study concept, we understand how they actually work in real life. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.